A sole survivor left in the wake of the destruction of her town, and mourning the loss of her sister who had been a living sacrifice to the abyss. She sought out the eternal pyre for salvation to ease her sorrow. She would pray for her sister's soul and pray for her own guidance. Through faith and prayer, what she was seeking had been given. She became the embodiment of the eternal pyre, the cleansing flame. She had become
Furia! The divine winged knight of Phoenix! Rebirth, power of flames and damned sky beams, fueled by pure fury
and healing.
Our newest support started with the magistrate, possibly, kinda strange, titled Furia, will be coming to us in the next patch, that being patch 1.1, called The Rise of Furia. Yeah, that's kind of an overused title. Take a look at her, adorned with armor granted by a divine source, yet that armor leaves a lot of space for damage, not so much for combat and more for the realm's project runway. I mean heavy armor on the shoulders, but leaves the legs and torso bare. You know how fatal a strike to these regions are? Oh look, a gun-sword hybrid. Hey, Squall did it first. Lightning followed shortly after. Who could blame you, Hi-Rez? Final Fantasy is the best source of inspiration. I just wished you'd have gone for a more white mage type of deal here. Not Soul Calibur meets Project Runway, and smack some divinity in there. Any hoodle-hoo, onwards with her ability breakdown.
First and foremost, the gunblade, man.
No, undo that statement right now. That is Final Fantasies and Final Fantasies alone.
Okay, dude, the Pyre blade, man. Better. Honestly, I was hoping for a more mellow weapon, like a club or a mallet, than I thought this was. I mean, look. I'd even be happy with a rapier or a bastard sword. I said bastard. It's a blade/shotgun that fires a typical shotgun shell every 0.5 seconds and can deal up to 330 damage if close enough. But that reload there did. Yeah, let me just bother the gods who gave me this power, man, to instill more magic divinity in me for the sole purpose of reloading. Did, just to further put forward the idea that this lady is pure damn fury, the more you heal your allies, the more this here bar fills, and it's called wrath. Let me get you a dictionary real quick. The very definition of wrath is extreme anger. Thanks, Dad. Your English lesson of the day, courtesy of this here man, Terrence. And with that intense amount of anger, Furia can increase her rate of fire by a whole 30%. And this bar empties if you neglect to heal, Dad. The upside here, Dad, is in your support's best interests to actually heal. Okay, the ultimate fire for Furia is Soul KINDLE, Dad. Lots of fire references here, man. She pretty much just lists out a burst of heals, dude, that chucks 1,000 health and allies way, and 500 more over 2 seconds. Here, take it!
Fastball!
And next on the list, dude, for more fire referenced abilities is Pyre Strike, man. I want to say this, okay, dude? Call forth the hands of the gods whence the eternal pyre resides. Lay thine eyes and hearken as I beckon the divine light to smite my enemies. Or to heal an ally, just saying. Yeah, dude, Pyre Strike is a summoned beam from above. And when summoned, travels thusly. It travels forward. I'm trying to be fancy. Not so easy, is it? Enemies unfortunate enough to be in its path are stunned for 1 second and take 400 damage on instant, as well as 20 more damage every 0.5 seconds if they remain in the beam, dude. And dude, it's not hindered by walls. See, we mentioned this in the last video, dude. We got it right for once. Next up, dude, we got Wings of Wrath. Whoa. Furia launches backwards, dude, as a means to avoid damage or to escape battle, or both. Or just to look graceful. And upon her backwards launch, she sends out 3 attack orbs, or light or something. These glowy orbs seek out enemies and each deal 200 damage apiece. Persistent little shits. And for the ultimate, another fire reference, INFLAME. Dude, that's a band. Channel the eternal PYRE and become invincible for 2 whole seconds. Upon the activation of this divine flame of power, allies in your AOE get 30% bonus damage and 30% movement speed for a whole 8 seconds, dude. Dang. Those affected will look like Choji from Naruto, by which we mean allies will have acquired flame-like wings. Isn't that magical, man?
And now for the talents. First up, we have CHERISH, not a wrath or fire-based title. With this talent, Soul Kindle heals up to 50% more depending on your ally's missing health. And next we have CELERITY. For all you not-so-English savvy, it quite literally means swift movement. Thank you, Reginald. Your Wings of Wrath ability simply gets a second charge. So be swift twice and fire orbs twice. Yep. Next is Solar Blessing. Raise your hands up to the sky and absorb the power of the sun. Just kidding. This inherently makes the giant sky beam of pure flame-like destruction, Pyre Strike, into a giant beam of heals. It moves forward and stops when making contact with an ally, healing them for 300 health every 0.5 seconds. Granted that your allies don't move, of course. This will be a pain to get your teammates to understand that what you're doing is for their benefit. And lastly, Exterminate. This also adjusts Pyre Strike, but as opposed to a Solar Blessing Sky Beam heals, it's a Sky Beam that inflicts more damage. The beam moves forward, and when it finds its target, it stops moving and deals damage in that one spot to that enemy. So use that beam of destruction.
Let's recap. A divine recap. Yeah. Furia is somewhat the embodiment of the eternal pyre, by which I think she's anti-mercy, as she's literally throwing words like fire and wrath around. Who could blame her? Her main weapon, the Pyre Blade, is a sword that she does not use as a sword, rather fires a shotgun-type bullet from within the hilt. Copyright Squall Leonhardt. But each shot can do up to 330 damage. The more you heal, the more that wrath bar fills up and the faster you can fire, so healing is in your best interests. Soul Kindle casts a spell of pyro divinity on an ally, and heals them for 1000 health and 500 more over 2 seconds. With Pyre Strike, you summon a sky beam that's seen in so many movies nowadays, and you watch it gradually move forward and rip your enemies a new one, with the fires of the divine sun dealing 400 damage and 20 more damage every 0.5 seconds if they remain inside the beam. With Wings of Wrath, you leap backwards, gracefully, and fire out 3 orbs that maliciously hunt down your enemy and deal 200 damage each. And when you use the Celerity talent, you can do that a second time. More malicious orbs. Divine malicious orbs. And INFLAME, the ultimate. Channel the divine eternal pyre and become invincible for 2 seconds. Any allies within your AOE are lovingly bestowed 30% bonus damage and 30% more speed for 8 seconds. So Furia might just be one hell of a support to master, and furthermore one hell of a support for your teammates to adjust to. Perhaps she's one of those supports that are just difficult to put down, like Ying lately. What the hell? The Divine Knight's armor that doesn't cover crucial areas. Yeah, she must have immense trust in her godly buddies of the Eternal Pyre above. A gun-sword hybrid, another swordsman that does not use melee. Strange. Hared really does not like melee champions. Oh, see that? She wears the ponytail that was cut off from her sister's hair before she was cast into the abyss. Man, that's rough. Don't know who this Knight of Divinity would be more vengeful toward, the Abyss for being the essence of evil, or the Magistrate for humoring this Abyss for so long. Willingly casting victims into this evil unknown Abyss because whatever lies beyond is craving it. Just saying, some pretty tough shit's going on there. So available on the PTS server, Saint Furia's Wrath,